We are here in game number 1. This is the final quarterfinal. The winner here will move on to face Winchester tomorrow. Now we have JorDan, again, second place in his group. He was able to move through his teammate yesterday in a crazy set against Tato, and he's playing as the Vikings. Here we have Hera in the blue, playing as the Britons on Golden Swamp to start off the series. With me, I have Ornlu yet again, and Ornlu, these guys are pretty close together here on the land.
Yep, with the water swamp area in the middle, very much looking like a scallop shell.
Sure, yeah, I could kind of see it, sort of.
You know,
I just see scrambled eggs.
Really important points of analysis.
Or I just see like a, like an egg. That's it. Egg in the frying pan is what I see when I see this map.
Okay. Yeah, that works. That works.
But we just talked about how maybe JorDan needs to take more risks here, right? He can play with 2 passive, and that passive play can bring him to the top 4, but he can't always get past that top 4. Or let's just say top 8 at times. And there's definitely a player that we see as one of the favorites to win the first season of Titans League. JorDan, unfortunate here that he hasn't found anything yet, but clearly he's looking to do some early damage, looking to lane, maybe steal some buffalo, steal some rhinos. I just don't think he can steal this one. It being on the other side of the TC, it's just far too risky.
Yeah, I feel like you don't need to take that risk. Yeah, if you lose your starting scout on this map especially, and you want to go for like an early dock, then you run into the situation where you just don't have anything to defend your fishing ships, and then you're sad.
Yep. Yeah,
but I feel like... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Nah, okay. Well, sorry, we have a lot to say about this map, apparently. JorDan would just be a little upset with himself that he wasn't able to find anything here, or just a little disappointed, not at himself. Hera will be happy to have all of his buffaloes. I just don't feel like laming on this map is necessarily the way to get ahead. So he's going to have to go home, plan for either a barracks or a dock. But civ-wise, we have the Vikings, who we've seen win before, usually through their water play, and we have the Britons, who we've seen win many times through their land play here. Which one do you prefer?
I kind of like Vikings up until we get to like the really later stages of the game.
Okay.
If Britons can get to the point where they are fighting for water, they're trying to take control of the center. Late game, they have shipwright to help them catch up to Vikings as far as their navy goes. Then I think Britons are fine, but if we see Castle Age dominated by longboats, then JorDan's going to be pretty happy. And the other thing that makes Vikings happy is that you don't usually have a ton of like super heavy forward play on this map, especially with Britons. And Vikings are going to be happy sitting back and just getting their eco rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the concern for me with Vikings in taking water is if they try and take it in feudal, that is a lot of micro. And so while if both players are going for water, straight galley opening is very strong. In a situation where Hera were to go for, let's say, Drush or Archers, and then JorDan has to react to that, it suddenly is more awkward for him to hit and run with those galleys towards the center. But if you dock at all, which JorDan has done, you also feel like you almost have to go for the second dock because you can't make fire galleys. So one dock galleys isn't really a good strategy these days.
Yeah, not really one I would recommend to anybody. You just need to have that production as those galley numbers, their strength increasing exponentially, much more so than the fire galleys, which is much more linear.
Yep. Okay, Hera being annoying with his scout. JorDan still has a full HP scout, so he can come over here and give it a little bonk and return the favor. And Hera is actually going to receive that first hit, and yeah, there's the bonk. And JorDan's going to click up here shortly, you would think, if he's going to compete for water. Hera, maybe the same. Hera getting looms, so he'll probably click up after that. So far, I'm not seeing any indication this is going to be anything but 2 docks from both players here, Ornlu.
Yeah, and if it's 2 docks v 2 docks, then it really comes down to, can JorDan keep his galleys alive long enough to get fletching? And by the time you get fletching, you also tend to just have enough galleys to start taking fights against fire galleys. But it's not like Britons can't open galleys themselves, so we could be seeing that approach as well. Both players, 0 seconds idle TC time in the Dark Age, clicking up on the exact same pop.
Yeah, in fact, they both have 4 water buffaloes underneath their TC. I mean, they're both doing such a great job here. I'd say overall, JorDan's going to have a bit more on wood, I think, from what I'm seeing. but it will depend on when Hera pulls over to gold here. I think he just needs to pull a couple vills over to gold. And Hera's going for the forward dock. So I've seen this before, and I think I almost always see it as JorDan tries to block the scout with the fishing ship against the Vikings, because the Vikings need that distance between them to mass the galleys. Hera's just going to cut that distance down with the forward dock. It's perfect.
Yep, the less you have to sail with your fire galleys, the happier you are. And with the 4 villagers going over to gold, that's generally indicative of the more fire galley intensive play. Actually, have the 5th villager going over to gold, so fire galleys, of course, costing more gold than wood, well, relative to galleys. And,
oh, man. Hera could be annoying and deny this dock, but JorDan sees it. JorDan should be able to protect this villager and finish this dock, but the pressure's on already. Hera knows he'll have the early advantage here.
And Feudal Age is in, fire galleys and galleys.
Do you remember in the Viper Yo set, if Viper opened 2 docks? I think he just went 1 and he went for
He went 1
barracks, right? Yeah. Okay, I was just trying to think back and make some comparisons there. So galleys will be coming out for 1. Fire galleys will be coming out for the other. Villagers will actually be very important for Hera here, so he can get repairs in on his fire galleys. And both players will want their scouts for the long term. And the Viking villager also moves faster because of wheelbarrows, so that's funny.
They were the Berbers before they were cool or existed.
Okay,
But, I mean, we saw in the
galleys.
Yo Leary game on this map earlier how having that villager there and not dead is just absolutely imperative for keeping your ships alive. And looks like the scout will end up falling for Hera. No. Oh, little miss micro.
Oh, they could both lose villagers here. Hera's scout's so weak. Hera loses his scout, so does JorDan. They both have weak villagers running away, but there was so much focus on the villagers that JorDan's falling behind now on the Navy. And I mean, he should fall behind, right? Like, fire galleys should win here. Also, that dock should never go up. If JorDan were to see that dock, that villager should never be building it.
And yet, it is still on its way. Now, notably, JorDan was able to squeeze in a very early fletching upgrade, which is going to just be super helpful against the fire galleys, and yet Hera trying to block. And it looks like we are going to have some attempted fishing ship snipes, though not quite in the right area. Does take 6 shots to kill those fishing ships with your galleys.
Yep, scouts are gone for both players, so they wouldn't be able to scout a transition into a barracks or a range. JorDan's micro is really good, actually. I thought this was going to be disastrous for him. But these galleys are showing how strong they are. And he will start taking out the fishing ships, and he hasn't lost too much yet. 4-2 KD for him. I think even Hera was expecting that he wouldn't need to work this hard with how this has gone so far, as he even loses the Vill in the middle.
I mean, those galleys can be pretty slippery, moving 10% faster than the fire galleys. And, of course, having a longer range means that, you know, it's almost like you're playing Cav Archers v some sort of melee unit.
Yep.
Just have to really babysit them, make sure that you have the unit control that you need and the numbers that you need. But if you're able to do so, it becomes pretty much like playing a game of solitaire against fire galleys. You know, you're just kind of doing your thing, and they're just trying to catch up and, you know, have to hope for the best.
Yeah, with 3 docks, it shouldn't be possible for JorDan to catch up when he's only on 2. There's a lot of sailing, not so much fishing, and he also didn't research his wood upgrade, which is normally fairly standard. So let's just assume that he's going to remember that one. He still hasn't lost his galley mass, though, but Hera's food count's looking higher. Hera has just finished his water buffalo, though, so I imagine things might even out later. And again, I'm surprised.
More food collected.
Again, I'm surprised. What was that? Sorry?
With around 500 more food collected is Hera.
Hera? Gotcha.
Yeah.
JorDan still has a buffalo or 2 to work with. Plus, he's got some berries here. He's hitting some deer. I feel like that should be close, but 500 is a lot at this stage. But JorDan's ship still being alive, 8-4 KD, will certainly make him happier than he thought he'd be after the start. He's got quite a few weak ships. Hera clearly thinking about castle. He's looking around for ships. His fishing ships, there's one that he has. It's working. And JorDan finally starting to attack the dock. I was wondering if he was ever going to do this. His dock's sitting right here, so he just might as well take this out and prevent Hera from producing more in water.
Yeah, I think having water control as you hit Castle Age with Vikings is going to be really helpful, just because neither of these civs are especially mobile.
Hmm.
So if you can prevent them from really going forward with any units, unless they like really hard commit to the forward, I think that's just going to be really nice for either of these players. And looks like Castle Age is going to be up first here for Hera. And how do you think he's going to be doing this approach? Do you think he's going to fight for water really hard or try and boom behind it?
I think he hopes that the faster Castle Age will give him an edge on water. And then with Britons, you've got to go for the cheap town centers. So, especially with Hera, he's very much a defensive boom-style player. I think that's what can hurt JorDan at times versus players like Hera, because he is as well. There's not really a big thing that JorDan has that might separate him from Hera, except for maybe the execution of the same thing, you know? But he takes the dock out there, and I love how JorDan's sitting with demos in his docks. Like, he's got a lot of demos. You could also argue that he should be offensive, though. So it just seems very tentative, man. Like, very tentative. There's so much respect that they have for each other. Almost too much, though.
Come on, you just gotta have that disrespect for your opponent, man. It's like when you just run it under their town center, assuming that they won't see.
Yeah.
Trust me, it works in all of my 1800 elo games. So it should be working for these, 2K5, 2K6 players.
Okay, so Hera now moves over. Now, this is where a demo could pop out. And JorDan's been waiting for this moment. He decides not to do so. He's still going to happily take out that dock. Never mind, pulls aside here. Hera now knows that the ships are on the way. Hera now goes back to the dock because JorDan is pulled over. That house foundation's also being attacked more than the dock is. And the demos! Okay, that other demo didn't hit at all, but still, I like that there from JorDan.
Yeah, I mean, Hera can still retreat with his ships and get them repaired at the not dry dock.
Yeah.
But
not dry dock.
I mean, it is in a literal sense a dry dock, but not in an AoE2 sense.
Yes, I see what you mean. War Galley on the way now for Hera. He's got that one dock, and he will just boom, I guess. I mean, I am both surprised that we have not seen a third dock from JorDan, and that we have not seen an additional dock from Hera. I feel like that dock from Hera is very late if he was going to lose those two in the middle. And there is the third dock from JorDan now that I say this. So JorDan's position's looking pretty good. He should be able to upgrade his ships, but as I say that, he's caught out. This is the worst timing for JorDan.
I mean, at least he doesn't have to invest into War Galley.
Also, where did his demos go? Did he use his demos on the other side at the same time? I thought he had two more. Oh, God. It's like when he could have moved.
That is exactly the fight that Hera needs, really leveraging that faster Castle Age and knowing that my opponent's not really going to have anything because he needs to really invest to fight back on water right now. So what do you just do? Just drop 2 TCs behind it and really further that economic lead.
Maybe what JorDan was doing there was he was running away from the ships near his docks, but he definitely had the numbers. Remember, he had 4 demos and 10 galleys there, and Hera wasn't producing any more. We both said that we think JorDan can play too passive in the big moments. And that was a clear sign of it, is now Hera should be able to just mop these longboats up. The docks will still be able to produce for JorDan. JorDan also has a second TC going up now and has handcard for free with Vikings. But Hera's on 3 town centers. His eco's looking very nice right now. And his control over the water is pretty big as well.
Yep, just in a pretty comfortable spot. JorDan is scooting and shooting around with the longboats. They are very fast and easy to micro. But as I always tell people when they're, saying how amazing Viking eco is, it is, but it's only amazing if you're really farming.
Yeah.
And 2 farms, I mean, yeah, those 2 farms are better, but I mean, is that really that impactful?
Remember, you have to work so hard to micro these things. Whereas for Hera, you don't have to work hard at all. I mean, I'm not saying he's not doing a good job at it, but fire galleys are like a knight. You just send them in and they'll continue to chase, and galleys are more like archers. But you're saying all that, the work that JorDan's doing, it could maybe bring him back on water right now. The KD's very even in this game. I would prefer to be microing longboats over microing war galleys, especially if Hera doesn't have Bodkin arrow. I think that's either a misplay or something he doesn't feel he needs right now, as he smushes himself in against these longboats.
Yeah, tries to block with those war galleys, but those longboats are very maneuverable. and JorDan able to squeeze on out at least with a decent number. And as you're saying, the KD is pretty even, both with 4 villagers killed, mostly being those fishing ships. And, well, the game is pretty much just going to march onward, and I don't really think that JorDan's going to be able to, like, super decisively win water anytime soon, and I feel like that's just going to be an issue due to his lack of eco.
Yeah. And he can't do anything else either. He could try some demos, but now that there's War Galleys, it's probably not the play. It's still watching the idle TC time. I guess it's fairly similar, but Hera's got 3 of them, so he's up to 61 villagers now. And it's only 50 right now for JorDan. Golden Swamp game 1. We've got other like closed maps that JorDan could fall to with his home maps. Hera preferring the more open ones. This is kind of the in-between. And Hera's done a fantastic job so far to lock down the map.
Yep, trying to block a little bit with the fire ships, creating a firewall, one might even say. Trying to block the virus that is those longboats.
The fact that he's winning water without Bodkin Arrow is pretty crazy to me, and I wonder if he knows that. Because if he is thinking about it, he could say, well, I don't need it, and I can just use my food for more villagers. But there is a world where if you were to lose water, then you're like, why aren't you getting this technology, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily as like, oh, it's super clear that I don't have Bodkin, because what Hera is doing is he's just running his longboats in as close as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
So you might not realize it, because it's not like they're poking at each other at range where missing that upgrade becomes super obvious. But regardless, there is enough stuff here on the water for Hera that he's probably just going to be feeling pretty confident, just focus on spending food on villagers, like you're saying. And he just seems in complete control of this game right now, really starting to take a lead in that KD.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and JorDan, his economy can't compete. JorDan's got 2 town centers versus 3 town centers. JorDan could probably boom on 3 TCs right now, but he also would have to focus a little bit less on his micro. And whereas you are put under pressure to micro more if you are behind like this in the numbers. Looks like he's starting to give up now on water. So I think in situations where someone takes control of water in closer games on this map, that player who takes control of water has sacrificed something. They're behind in the economy. That's not the case here. We even see a 4th TC for Hera, full confidence boom from him.
And I'm just really liking his position, because like I was saying earlier, what are Vikings going to do to actually pressure you if you're Hera? I mean, they have to either build a bunch of buildings forward or walk across the map with a likely very slow army. And it feels like if Britons are in this position, they can just like drop castles in the middle and just slowly inch their way towards victory.
Britons are in my opinion, the best civ on this map. I think that they can dominate every civ, including the Gurjaras. I know we saw an example of that earlier. And I also think the most exciting part about picking Britons is that they counter a lot of other common picks, like Japanese. I think Britons can compete there. Vikings, as we're seeing, they can compete here. And I think the big reason for that is if it ever comes to land, Arbalest with 10 range or 11 range just dominates those civilizations.
Yeah, totally.
I just don't like, I know it happens, but if the roles were reversed and the Viking player had control of water right now, we'd be like, oh, the Briton player has this and that. Like, oh, the Briton player can switch into this. What do Vikings have? They're not going to switch into stable units, or stable units are garbage. They're probably not going to open infantry. If they go archers, the defense is always going to be there for that. So I think JorDan, it's the first game. I think he knows he's really far behind here. And so he's doing what he can to maybe snag some relics and whatnot, but I don't see a single chance for him right now.
No, and Hera's not a player that you can really easily come back against. He's
Agreed.
not someone who's going to throw a lead just because he is so solid, so consistent, so defensively oriented himself.
Yeah, Hera will take what you give him. And I think the moment in this game where JorDan needed to be more assertive was when he had 4 demos and he had 10 galleys, and there was just silence in the middle. Hera stopped producing because he didn't need to produce. He wasn't being pressured. He was able to cut some corners to get that castle age in. Feels like I don't know, the galleys aren't being pressured there. You got to have confidence in your micro, and I think JorDan has made Made things too difficult for himself here, as he's even going to lose the monk there. He tried to sneak in to get the relic on the swamp. This is,
Feels bad, man.
This isn't Golden Swamp. This is Golden Stomp here, game 1. This isn't even
Oh,
close,
no.
man. I went there.
Oh. Well, let's just hope we don't go to Jungle Stomp.
Ooh. I think we have that as a home map as well.
It is a home map.
Nice.
It's, one of... I think? I don't know.
I think it's Hera's.
Remember.
I think it's Hera's home map.
Yeah. We've been casting so many games in the last couple days.
Yeah.
So they all kind of blend together.
I think Jordan's home maps, though, just to restate what I said earlier for people who didn't hear it, as we see heated shot. Let's go, Jordan. Heated shot. I mean, it's actually a good tech to get here, too. But yeah, I think that picking Houseboat and picking Arena is probably two of the best home maps you could have against a player like Hera. I will be curious to see how well Jordan executes on those maps.
Gotta love the heated shot for the not even one castle he has yet.
Thinking ahead. No ballistics, though, so not thinking ahead in that regard. Clearly just castling the shoreline so he's able to get docks down to try and come back on water. But if you don't have the mass by now with Vikings, it's going to be really tough to come back. Hera places a get out of my game castle here in the middle. He follows it up with another one now. He's got longbows. He's got navy. He can make trebs for the new castles from Jordan. The only thing that Hera needs to make sure he does is produce more navy. I'm a little concerned that he's not doing that at the moment, but if he produces more navy and goes for war galley, he should be okay.
Although there is the pretty reasonable situation where Hera gets so far into Jordan's base that it doesn't matter if he loses water.
Yeah, that's true, because there's no army here whatsoever from Jordan.
Yeah.
TCs will go down. Villagers will get sniped slowly by the longboats. There's Galleon for Hera, so he knows that he just needs to be on water. Ballistics, Bracer for Jordan, catching up in those upgrades. TC's getting trepped down. And the GG is called, and that was not close at all. I want to go back to that point real quick, because I know we'll have the time. Okay, so it was like, I think 16 minutes. Okay. So at 16:45, now, I mean, okay, to be honest, Jordan's taking out the docks, which is probably really good. I don't hate him taking out the docks. But I feel like he should also be going for the ships, you know? Like, there's only, at this point, Hera's got 7 fires, 10 galleys, and 4 demos destroy that. He really put Hera under some pressure. Maybe I'm wrong. It just felt a little tentative there for Jordan, and Hera just made everything look so easy in the later game.
And especially it allowed Hera to just keep that number of ships alive that he really needed.
Yep.
And it's like getting ahead in water doesn't really matter, like map control wise, if you can't do anything with it. And Hera was able to pressure from both sides at the same time with your fire galleys, minimizing the amount in which Jordan could micro around. So just making that longboat sandwich happen.
We'll see if Jordan can recover. He'll have Houseboat, and he will have Arena. So as we switch focus, let's actually see. The lobby doesn't tell us yet. So let's just assume it's going to be Houseboat. So we're going to catch up here, game number 2, and we'll speed through some of the early stages. It should be fine. Actually, no, I think they're in right now.
Yeah, they are.
I think, okay, so we're not behind. We're fine there. And we predicted this perfectly. Chinese for Hera. The weakness of the Chinese would be the fact that they do not have food in the bank at the start, but you can get that food quickly on this map with the shorefish. So Hera's gone for one of the best civs for this map, and then so is Jordan. Jordan's going to be focusing more on the fish approach, as he is playing as the Malay, and honestly, he had Malay or Japanese. I think both are fine. I think Jordan could get the win here.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I think that both Malay and Japanese have enough similarity in terms of strength that it's really just which civ do you feel more comfortable with.
Yep.
They both actually have fairly similar tech trees. But the Malay fish traps, you know, taking over 2 hours game time to deplete, like that just feels good, man.
Yeah, I agree. And I think something that I would consider if I'm Malay is the fast rush strategy against the Chinese. Obviously, the Chinese uptimes could still be fairly competitive, but advancing faster to the next stage with the Malay, water being so important, players being relatively close, could easily see Jordan consider doing that. In the Jordan Tato series, Tato did that to Jordan, and Jordan defended. But even still, it's like, if you're investing all these ships into defending your own fish and your opponent's untouched, I think it's a net positive for you. So I think Jordan should go for it here. Now, I don't think that's his play style at all. I think his play style is actually to be more defensive, just like Hera. But I think the longer you sit back and the longer you chill, the better the Chinese get in this matchup. So hopefully Jordan will think twice about defense.
I mean, in the late game, though, I do like bombard cannons a lot against Chinese.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. One of the few things Chinese can't do, and if you have a forward position in particular, like 6 or 7 archer ranges and a castle from both players, that's where bombard cannons can really make a difference.
And for what it's worth, Malay also with monks that have redemption and block printing and sanctity and all that stuff, which can totally be an option.
Yeah, Chinese do lack block printing, so I think in Imperial Age they
don't have redemption.
Oh,
Remember,
yeah, they swapped it. Yeah. I actually said block printing, and I thought redemption, so which was actually a good move. I know the reason they gave Chinese block printing, but like I was worried when they gave Chinese block printing and they still had redemption, and then it actually nerfs Chinese for them not to have redemption in Castle Age, which I think was a good decision.
Yep, and they still retain that weakness to strong siege in the late game, which is really important because that's basically their only weakness.
Yeah. Well, Hera has more villagers. Hera's dock is up now. Both players opting for a similar approach where they will dock and take the shore fish on either side. They're making the map look easy. It's not easy to play. Obviously, takes quite a bit of effort to ferry the villagers across constantly. And there's JorDan. And JorDan sees these villagers, and he will know that that's where the dock is for the enemy, and he can consider running forward here in early feudal age. I'd like the 2 villager approach instead of just 1. And we've even seen situations where the defending player will scout it and then transport their villagers to go rush it down. Build the tower and everything. Players will go through a lot to put a stop to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty darn good. I mean, not only are you able, if you take control of your opponent's water, able to potentially like block villagers from being ferried over, but I mean, most of their resources are in range of galleys at the very least. So it can be just a game-winning play, which is why we see players just fight tooth and nail to defend that.
Shout out
for the time being, JorDan going to click up pretty fast, much more so than Hera.
Yeah, I mean, but he does have the travel over there if he's going to go for it, of course. He also could just say, hey, I'm Malay, come at me, because the longer this goes, the better my fishing is. I think JorDan's playstyle is that of playing more defensive. Only his scout is moving out across the map right now. Also, small shout out to the person who decided to make a neutral archer range joke. I've never heard that joke before. You guys are all hilarious out there.
What is it? You know, if you say a joke, a few times it stops being funny, but if you say a joke around 150 times, then it becomes funny again.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how the AOE2 community works.
Yeah, we're a bit beyond the 150 thing, but I get it.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Listen, you think, I'm not going to make fun of T90 today, and then you go play the AI and you lose a villager to a boar. What are you going to do to feel better? You come over here and you make fun of T90, so it's all cool. I make fun of T90 more than I should as well, so it's all fair. Well, JorDan's not moving out here. Oh, wait. He is moving out. Excuse me. I am blind. And will Hera scout this? Feels like he could scout it depending on where JorDan places the dock. JorDan's in feudal, and the dock is secretive. It's super sneaky. And now he's checking with the fishing ship.
Beautiful. And I like the attempt from JorDan. He scouted where his opponent's dock was early on, so, just try and build your dock where you think your opponent is not going to see it.
Yep.
But Hera, just a little too diligent, able to get that sight in, but it's still a much faster feudal age time for Mr. JorDan. And I love this approach. If you know you're going to be faster up to feudal age, just go for those galleys. They're way better at sniping fishing ships than fire galleys.
I guess, what's the approach? Is the approach to get him to overinvest, or is it to kill fishing ships? Because for me, I want to control this water. I want this water to be mine if I'm in JorDan's position. But he's actually not going to do that. He should be able to get 2 galleys out right around the time Hera is about to pop out with 2 fires. Actually, I don't know the timing. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, he might be able to kill the fishing ships normally. Maybe that's it. Kill 3 fishing ships and then just go home.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, though, because that is a fairly hefty investment.
Yeah. He does have the scout HP lead, which is pretty big. Because he'll be able to see various things that Hera's up to. Also, he deleted the foundation, but Hera will see the foundation. JorDan tried to hide that. Hera already has a barracks of his own. Imagine the paranoia is setting in for Hera after seeing that, because he must know that was a barracks foundation.
Yep. You do get those distinct foundation outlines in DE.
Ornlu. JorDan needs to move out. There we go. He needs to move out with those galleys. He's been here for so long. Let's see. Now, I did a lot of testing before WWC when we had Houseboat in January, and I really felt like opening with galleys was not worth it because you would just eventually lose everything to the fires. But he is going for a demo follow-up, maybe even a fire galley follow-up, and then maybe he's okay. I guess instead of 2 docks, though, he really wanted to switch into the archers, so that's the trade-off.
I suppose so, but Hera is walling himself in quite nicely, and I think if you're going for the single dock approach, going for the galleys makes more sense, because if you go fire galleys, you're just going to be behind.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
There's no way you're ever going to catch up, whereas doing something different than your opponent does give you a potential opening to maybe snipe some fishing ships. In this case, it was only 1 or 2 galleys, which isn't exactly worth it.
Oh, but get the fish. Okay, man, that demo, oh, that was so close. Hera had just sent villagers to the shoreline there. That could have been 5 villager kills. That would have been epic. But yeah, JorDan just thinking about it. You do not want to use a demo against a transport ship because it takes 2 to do that. And I think he should have just committed against something here. But he is making archers.
At least send it back now to blow up the fire galley, because otherwise it's going to just die without being in the blast radius of anything.
Unless Hera thinks he's going to kill it and it actually hits the fishing ships here in a second. But nope. Yeah, that was a waste. Like,
in that situation, you just got to cut your losses and just blow up the fire galley.
Also, Hera's making a second barracks. So
he wants to go mass longswordsman.
Yeah, so here's the thing that's been going through my mind about the 1 dock, even though he hasn't killed a lot. Look at how much Hera has had to invest into it, and look at how much focus he's had to put into it. Whereas for JorDan, he could fish at home. He's added more fishing ships. He's taken berries on multiple sides, and he's making archers right now. And the dock's still there. I like this more and more, actually, from JorDan.
Yeah, I mean, Hera's just having to commit so much to this defense. The dock being garrisoned with ships, you don't know what or how many units are in there. Oh, trying to, I guess, block with the fire ship a little bit.
Oh,
no, the poor fishing ships, what did they do? Oh!
Okay, he got 1. So he's killed 3 eco. He's demoed a fishing ship, a villager, and then he shot down one of the things early. But Hera's looking like a fish out of water here, man. Like, this does not look like he knows what to do. He's going to add farms. He added double barracks. Oh, the double hits as well.
There
JorDan. And look at all these war galleys. If this was islands, obviously it's fantastic right now for Hera. Also, why is that gate open?
Sometimes I've learned that the fewer questions you ask, the more you'll understand things.
That something's up there. I imagine it's the fire galley's oar holding the gate open. But I've never seen that before. JorDan will go out with a demo. And JorDan is soon going to click up to the castle age. Meanwhile, Hera's at 150 food. Yeah, he's transitioning into farms, but meanwhile, there's 7 fishing ships, soon to be 8 for JorDan, and JorDan could start fish trapping at home as well with the Malay.
And he's up on his way to the castle age as Malay, so he's going to get there super fast. He has around 600 more food collected. He's going to be getting gold mining, fletching, and this is potentially lethal for Hera if JorDan just decides to go forward.
Yeah, I said, oh god, because Hera deleted a house to place a farm and then got housed immediately. Like, this is... JorDan has to win this game. Like, this is almost reverse of what we saw in the first game. Everything Hera's doing just doesn't feel right to me at all. And everything that JorDan's doing, at least after the initial push, is looking perfect. I would love to see a forward siege workshop personally. I'd like to see a second range. I just have so much more faith in the Chinese if the game goes on for a long time. The archer micro is good for Hera so far, but he will end up losing all of his archers. JorDan loses 2. Hera will end up losing... Yep, okay, 3-2 there. Now we've got crossbow, and then we have a second TC? Huh? JorDan? Yep, TC. Right there on that wood line.
Also, JorDan wasn't really stopping with the fishing ship production like we saw... Was it? Yeah, JorDan himself was Malay in the game versus Tato, and he only made like 5 fishing ships, which triggered me to no end.
Yeah, JorDan's going to wall up on the sides. He doesn't have much of a push coming. It's still only 4 crossbowmen, but Hera is forced into a tower because Hera doesn't... He has to respect his uptime. Hera has to be worried right now. Remember, Hera lost his scout early on. So he can't really see what's out here. He knows his opponent has crossbowmen now. He will be defended from that, and he's going into skirms. But he's on 4 fishing ships only, and it's normal for Chinese to want to switch heavy into land eco. I get it. But what a lead JorDan has right now. He's got a 2 eco lead, and Hera is 2 minutes away from going up to the next age. That's insane.
That's the power of Malay.
Also, did Hera make... Someone said Hera double... What in the world? Is Hera doing a challenge? He made 2 blacksmiths. He made 2 barracks. 2 docks.
It's the 2-2-2-2-2.
Yeah.
You know, build 2 of everything.
It's the perfect home map against Hera. Hera did not play it a lot in the group stage. It's a map which doesn't suit his strengths at all. And then JorDan also has Arena. And also, something that I think can affect Hera at times is mindset. Not that he's alone in that, but like, if you get frustrated because everything's gone wrong in this game, and then you get into another game, and then that starts to go wrong, maybe that affects how your performance is.
Yeah, it does clean up a few crossbowmen to the right of his base with some skirmishers, and is running around with an archer, getting scale barding armor, and there are the double stables on the way, and I'm just not the biggest fan of JorDan only having the 1 archery range. I feel like it would have been a bit better for him to go more aggressive.
Yeah, 2 ranges. I agree. He is booming like it's a Black Forest game right now with the pond, you know? And I think it's a dangerous sign. To invite a lot of pressure at this stage of the game, you've got 5 crossbowmen. He is actually going to run out here and deny this stable, which is massive, though. And if he gets the stables denied and then he gets his own stable up, we might even see a Malay elephant or 2. That
Malay
certainly
elephants
helps.
are good, man. They win games super hard.
Do they actually win games?
Yeah, you bet. Hey, I beat Uzi, who's, you know...
Uzi. Okay, I know
who's
Uzi.
a good player relative to me with mass Malay elephants.
When was this? And then why didn't you tell me?
It was just on a ladder game.
Dang. Did you go like Fast Castle? Did you go Legend of the Liar and say you meant to pick Magyars or what?
No. It wasn't a team game, but it was like the 2 of us were just playing our side, and it was essentially just a 1v1.
Ah.
But he went for the Burmese like YOLO monk push, and I went for just a full-on boom, and then he went for fast imp, and
then you just
like a bunch
showed
of
up with a bunch
and
of
I went for
cav.
like 5 stable elephants in Rams and Castle Age and just killed him.
Nice. Well, they are very cheap, right? They're weak as a whole, but what makes them strong is how cheap they are and how many you can make.
Exactly.
70 economy for JorDan. It's 51 for Hera, who's just now getting to that second TC. But, you know, we all know Hera with Skirmisher Knight, and while that elephant will force Hera away with these skirms for now, we still don't have a position from JorDan which is strong enough, which makes me think, yeah, he's going to snowball this game to victory. He really took a step back there in Castle Age to focus on his boom. He had Hera on the ropes. At least he could have had Hera on the ropes, but it's very tentative. And this is, again, what we said prior to game number 1. It is a trend with JorDan.
Yeah. Now, the elephants are going to just trade well against all the units that Hera's making, provided they are actually attacking, which is a big if when it comes to elephants.
Sure.
But at the very least, they are going to be forcing Hera back, and I feel like if the elephants are just forcing Hera back, it's giving JorDan more time to boom, more time to get his eco going, and then It's just going to further cement his advantage. So I really don't mind this.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot that's going through my mind is just the trend, right? And that's a tough thing to get out of my mind as a caster. If the roles were reversed, then I'm like, okay, there's no way that JorDan brings it out of this. But like where we are right now, I still have this confidence. Like, okay, maybe Hera can figure something out because he's done a lot of that in the past. But Gillnet's now on the way. The Elephants are certainly keeping the skirmishers away from moving out and being able to address the crossbowmen. And we even have Husbandry, which will certainly help these chonkers chase down these skirms. Hera might be thinking the Elephants had Husbandry already. He's like, oh, okay, I can outrun these things. Now it's similar speed, but Elephants still catching up. Fourth
That's why
TC.
I think Elephants need to get a 0.05 tiles per second movement speed increase, so they are the same speed as Elephant Archers, because at that point they are faster than all the foot archers in the game, basically.
Yeah.
With Husbandry.
I guess Elephants are just a tricky thing to balance, man, because if you have a full boom game and you go for a lot of Elephants, there's not much that can really stop that in the game. But then in the early stages, you're always talking about, is it justifiable to make them?
No. And it's anything that is its strength is population efficiency is always going to be really hard to balance.
Yep. Indeed. Hera trying to snipe villagers with skirmishers against elephants should counter this. Actually could go for the fish traps as well, and he's one-shotting fish traps. Maybe not one-shotting, but he's taking them out with skirmishers. So this shows you, I guess if you can't force the fight with the elephants, that's where they're quite bad, right? And JorDan hasn't been forcing the fights he's been chasing. He actually did delete his one elephant there, so wouldn't switch sides as he finally tries to make a bit of a push. And he's still making elephants. He will see Hera has a TC there.
I'm telling you, man, masked Malay elephants are really good.
I mean, I'm ready to see it really heat up here, Ornlu. Maybe if you get enough of them, you can go for the TC. And look at the micro from JorDan. He micros down Hera's monk. These things are really chunky. Now, this couldn't have been JorDan's initial strategy, right? I think he's just using his eco lead to hold control. And honestly, I like it because what else are you really going to make as Malay? You don't want to go Knights. That going with Knights is just a waste of resources because you have the discount on these elephants.
Yeah, and just the 30% discount is pretty massive for any type of unit. Now JorDan's going to be coming forward with the castle. He's ahead by around 30 villagers. Yeah, he's kind of far off from the Imperial Age, but I feel like he could really start to apply a lot of pressure. As elephants, they can really pressure buildings.
Something that Tato did yesterday, which I absolutely loved, was adding additional fishing ships. He got up to like 45 fish traps.
Yeah.
But I think you only do that if you have your castle on the shoreline there, because the worst case scenario would be losing everything. This castle is very casual. It may be too casual, but the elephants are really soaking up some damage on the front, and the knights from Hera are not even attacking there. Lots of running back and forth.
What are you going to do? The monks get their 2 conversions. Yeah, like, cool. The elephants don't care. The elephants are just going to trample everything.
Let's go. Honestly, it's not something you see every day at the high level, right? Like, maybe you'll see 1 or 2, but to see this many Malay elephants be utilized is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's like, then you just remember, wait a minute, elephants have 2.5 times the HP of a knight.
Right? And isn't it also cheaper than a knight as well with the Malay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With Malay, it's way cheaper than a knight.
Way cheaper, yeah. I think it's worth it in these situations. And I think the theme here for JorDan still has to be winning with Arbalest. I don't think you just go more elephants in early imp and get like a lead battle elephant or anything. But he's allowed himself to continue to produce the crossbowmen. He's allowed himself the position with the castle now. This is a game he has to win. 29 to 16 KD. He'll be an imp way faster than Hera. He's had a lead for a long time. JorDan needs this game.
JorDan brutally murdering a poor wild boar.
Yeah, saw that. Also, Hera just sniped another fish trap. JorDan says, that's funny. I'll add another one in the same spot. Elephants
it's like those games when like you get your castle trap down and then you just drop another castle
in the same
foundation
spot.
immediately where it is, and then it just gets trapped down again.
It's just funny to see JorDan replenish it right away. These poor elephants, they're switching sides of the conversions. They're like, we know we're cheap, but please value us. Please appreciate us. Oh, God.
Oh, feels bad, man.
Well, I feel like the counterattack from Hera here shouldn't have been a real possibility. With the amount of control you have, maybe some walling from JorDan would have made some sense. He is going to open up with a trebuchet, though. And he is going to drop another castle. He's really trying to control the map and prevent Hera from expanding. And we will have monks going for conversions here against Hera's knights. They're weak knights, but still, I mean, they can get value. And all these villagers have to run because 3 knights got through. Nice quick walls there from JorDan. Oh, he could have.
He totally could have.
But I mean, that knight will help kill the other knight. And then he's just got 1 knight to... Whatever, he'll deal with that. And look at where Hera wants to drop a castle right now. Oh.
Feels bad, man. And, you know, to his credit, Hera's just hanging in there.
Yes,
JorDan,
yeah.
not really trying to force the issue. He's getting his relevant upgrades for his archers. He still's mixing in some elephants. I mean, I think that elephant plus arbalest, if you can go with the double gold comp, like, that's going to be really good for you. But, I mean, Hera's just hanging in there. He's getting to the Imperial Age, and he's going for his big Knight Skirm army, so we have to give him credit for, like, knowing what he wants to do.
This is another situation where I want to scream at the computer, though. And I'm not trying to be rude. Arbalest still isn't in, right? I guess he's taking out a town center with the Treb. I feel like you've got to be pushing with that advantage. Faster to the Imperial Age by 3 minutes. Normally, Arbalest is pushing in and doing damage against even Skirms, the Knights of Siege here. Hera is expanding to the left side. He's not losing that much ground. I know JorDan's got the population, but JorDan, I think you're playing too safe here, my friend. Put your foot on the throttle and move in here and attack before Hera can upgrade these units.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, he's just rounding out his tech tree, getting all those nice upgrades, but, like, you're trying to rush up a dock right now?
Why?
As much as I'd love to see mass harbors in your opponent's pond, I do know when you can meme too far. Just go kill him, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to do that if you're already pushing home your advantage elsewhere, you know? But I think in his mind, he knew that Hera was far behind him. And so he felt like, okay, let's see if he's ever going to make it to Imp. Now he sees him, and now he's thinking about taking the fight. But now Hera's land army is better. I think, anyways, Skirm and Cavalier would be stronger. I like the Fireship edition, though, now that he has that dock up. Also has an outpost on the left side, so we can see that Hera's there. We have Fast Fire even coming in now. Probably a good time for Hera to delete his TC in that island. JorDan placing another castle.
Still trying to ferry Vills across, but he's not quite at his ideal villager count yet. So, I mean, if he's got the APM to do it, which Hera definitely has, then
yeah,
go for it.
He does still have the elephants, Ornlu. We cannot forget the elephants. Also, shipwright right now. Shipwright. So your ships are cheaper in one dock?
Yep. Hey, if this becomes a 3-hour wood game, having those Malay fish traps, having shipwright early on, it's what you got to do to win.
I need JorDan to win this game so bad because he's been so passive here, and I'm concerned, man. I'm concerned. Someone says if Hera comes back, it's freaking amazing. Honestly, I'm going to come off as brutal here. But I don't necessarily think so with how little pressure that has actually come his way. We'll see what the docks do. We have the Cavalier shifting over from Hera. Hera is waiting for pressure to come in. It hasn't happened yet.
It's Thalassocracy.
And we have Thalassocracy, so the docks will start to fire some arrows. Let's go, baby. And now we have that main fight.
Look at that 3 + 4 damage. It's like they're a few elite skirmishers, man.
We'll see. Hera's eco is on par with JorDan's, I would say. I think it's an important thing to mention. He's got castles to protect his eco as well. Those chonkers, though, are carrying hard here. And finally, JorDan's going to push in here.
Oh, my goodness. And, like, what are you going to do against all the elephants? You got 3 conversions. That's great. Who cares?
He's making more.
Like
yeah.
Huge amount of elephants coming at you.
Finally, now the Trebs move forward as well. Hera's Cav. Maybe the docks were a bait, so Hera would send the Cavalier away. Maybe he was concerned about that. But now we have JorDan putting his foot on the throttle. He does have like 5 castles or something crazy. And Hera's only got 2, and Hera's Cavalier are now going to go for a counterattack. JorDan is prepping barracks in the north, so it's like he's foreseeing that counterattack. Castle might not actually go up, though. That could be really annoying for him.
Yeah,
And
only
he
three
still
villagers
really
building that.
needs to protect his trebuchets here and push back Hera's corner here. That's the second trebuchet to go down as the elephants are going to dive deep underneath the castle.
But this is where the Malay elephants are going to be having a bit of a rougher time as they just lack that pierce armor from not having chain barding armor. Quick walls are very nice for JorDan. Is going to protect the majority of his economy. But without any siege, it's going to be tough to destroy that castle. I mean, elephants can take down a bunch of buildings, but now the elephant numbers are getting a little bit lower.
He really needed to keep his trebs alive. Hera with some monks here, converting a few elephants. Shouldn't mean too much. The monks will likely die. The big thing is, can Hera contest the trebs? If Hera loses the southern corner, it's very possible he loses this game because that's where a lot of his eco is. He needs to contest those trebs. And as annoying as the Cavalier raids are, JorDan is massing pikemen. JorDan does have 2 trebuchets, and Hera does not have the army composition to address that. I like how JorDan, after losing 2 trebs, Ornley was just like, you know what? Let's just sit here. You know, let's just protect them instead of trying to do too much right now.
Just make sure that the most important unit in your army right now, which is your siege, because that castle's the only thing that's standing between Hera and losing this entire portion of the map and most likely the game.
Yep.
Just make sure that castle goes down because your army is a lot better than his in a straight-up fight.
Okay, so if this game ends soon, I'm going to ask this now. Has he created more Arbalest or has he created more elephants in this game? That's a serious question.
I'm not sure. He has way more Arbalests right now, but the Arbs are retaining their numbers much more effectively, so it's hard to say. I do think that he should probably go ahead and grab a lead elephant at some point. He doesn't have much food right now, but...
Yeah, well, he did have to go pikeman, remember?
Yeah.
And he's still trying to deal with those cav. Hera has the population lead right now. What is happening? Hera's castle's still up. All the Arbalest have gone down.
Yeah.
JorDan is losing this game?
His score is still very far ahead. He's like 8k resources ahead, more of everything. And yet he took an absolutely abysmal fight for real reason.
And I mean, that Cavalier switch was so good from Hera. He knew he couldn't just react. So that was a good move from him. Denied the castle, and I think that meant that JorDan focused so much of his attention there. And Hera holds! This was the moment that I didn't want to arrive earlier in the game when JorDan was castling everywhere. He was in it 5 minutes faster here. Hera's got a real chance now, especially considering there's not a lot of relics on this map. There's only one, and JorDan doesn't have that one. And there's still resources all over in the middle of the map to secure if the castles get taken out.
I feel like the pikeman switch was a mistake. I feel like if you just double down on Arb plus battle elephant and you just like...
Yeah, well, the
fully
thing
wall
was...
your base.
Yeah, like, he was thinking like he was Chinese himself and trying to castle the whole map. But I really think he just had to go for the kill at any point, right? Like, the shipwright was probably the craziest thing. Do you know how much that costs with Malay? Isn't it full price?
1,000 food, 300 gold.
1,000 food, 300 gold. And he's had no benefit to shipwright, so...
No, he made like 2 fire ships.
Yeah. I mean, he did just make another dock, I guess. So... Oh, man. Jordy. Come on, man. Come on, JorDan. Bias caster over here. JorDan has the win this game for my sanity's sake. And he deserves it, too. With how he played in Feudal Age, he deserves this win, 100%. He just has to close it out.
Go out and grab it.
Yep. It's dangling in front of his face right now. He's got to snag that thing. Come on. Halb's on the way for JorDan. Skirm is quickly becoming the most important unit for Hera. As long as there's no elephants there, the Halbs and the Arbalest will die to that.
Yep. And the monks are still getting some elephant conversions. They don't have blast furnace yet. They never got the elite upgrade. And now we're seeing JorDan try and quick wall in some bills to make a harbor.
Well, ironically, at this point, I don't mind switching in a few galleys. Or like even cannon galleons in that pond.
Yeah.
I don't know if shipwright was ever needed, though, to be able to make that happen there. JorDan it's clear to him that it's like clicking in his mind, like, oh my god, I'm missing stuff. I'm kind of throwing this, and he's starting to fix some of those things by getting nice and helpful university technologies and blacksmith technologies. He does still have that castle in the middle, which I think is very nice because it makes it awkward for Hera to ever cross over. And even another castle going up for JorDan there. But he's still not able to push. And this definitely feels like the resources for Elite Battle Elephant if you wanted to try it.
Oh, yeah. And also the resources to not just fight skirmishers with arbalests. Something I would recommend to a friend.
Yeah, he's backing away. And he's got the bomber cannons there now. So Hera's going to take some big shots from the bomber cannons.
Yeah, that was very nice for JorDan. What would you think right now to bombard towers instead of trying to spam castles everywhere? Because with how JorDan's playing this, I feel like if you're going for this super slow passive approach, just like littering the map with bombard towers.
I would say no, just because he's already made so many castles.
No,
right?
I meant like instead, if he didn't go for the castles, he
I think
bombard towers instead.
Well, honestly, I don't see a big issue. I think if he would have committed all of his resources and focus to this corner 10 minutes ago, he would have taken out a castle and he would have dropped another castle there, and then that's good enough, I think. But I agree that Bombard Tower is definitely an underrated play. I mean, we saw Shipwright, so there's very good chances we'll see the Bombard Tower technology.
Got to get that tech tree score.
Seriously, he's gonna that's gonna be so high at the end of this game. Like, oh my god. But hey, he's pushing Hera back. I mean, Hera is not dying, but Hera's still not able to make any significant grounds here. There's castles everywhere from JorDan. And that's the tough thing, right? It's like the reason that Hera isn't able to come back could be because of how JorDan played it. You could also make arguments that, you know, he could have maybe finished it off earlier as well, had it been different. Malay are certainly awkward right now, and I'm looking at gold. I think the only gold remaining for JorDan is actually the gold by the middle castle, which is crazy. So he's got to keep that up.
There's a couple tiles closer to Hera's base.
Yeah.
Which perhaps you could take if you just take another castle or something. I mean, he's got 38 stone miners if you're JorDan. And now he's just going to go full Arb plus Skirm and Halb, like going for all of these very cheap units.
You got to get
I
force
feel like
levy
it's just
here.
kind of unnecessary because Hera has to do that. Doesn't really have the resources that you would want. It's down by around 3,000 gold collected. And Hera can't really develop towards a good gold unit himself, whereas it feels like JorDan totally could if he wanted to.
Yeah, Hera's making full trash. Malay are perfect here. He's going to go Elite Karambits! He's going to go Karambits! If this doesn't work, he could have problems. I mean, Karambits are actually really good. Karambits are really, really good. But my worry is the timing and the longevity of this move. I would love to see Force Levy as well, you know, so you could make the two-handed swordsmen that do only cost food. There goes a ballsy castle for Hera. Not for Hera, for JorDan. That could get denied. He could lose, like, a ton of population, but I guess for every villager he loses, 2 Karambits are going to replace them.
Oh my goodness. They're almost fully upgraded. Is the Lord blessing us? 99.62!
No, come on! And he can't deal with that other Treb yet. He needs to deal with that other Treb. I swear, man. JorDan cannot lose this game. He cannot lose this game. This might actually be the biggest throw I've ever seen if he loses this game. Normally, I'm like, don't take anything away from Hera. Hera was so far behind in this game.
Oh, yeah.
So far behind in this game. Does not deserve to win this game. JorDan, get this victory, my friend. Get this victory. Keep these castles up. For my sanity, at least. Come on. His population's high. It actually helped him, I think, that he lost those villagers. But he is 0 on gold at the moment. So if he doesn't have Force Levy available, he's just going to be making skirms and halbs. These Karambits really have to get their worth here.
And to be fair, against an army of almost entirely trash units, as Hera's trying to switch over into Arbalest, the Karambits are just going to nom through everything.
Yes, they will. Yep. Also, JorDan will likely keep his castle up now, which is huge. And he could actually push Hera's castle to the left of his castles in the middle. Hera's not even close to being finished, though. As long as he has wood and he has food, and he has both of those, he will continue to make light cav and skirms.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, okay, JorDan still has around 7k army value, And that should be enough to continue this push.
Oh yeah,
Yet again,
definitely.
JorDan hasn't been pushing, but it still feels like
He's gaining ground.
now.
Yeah, he's gaining
Yeah.
ground. He's not. He hates the southern corners. Like there's this force field he cannot progress into, so he hates this corner. But the other side now is really appealing to him, and it should be because there's stone and gold there too. I think in Hera's mind, he probably thought about calling the GG so many times in this game, but then he's like, wait a second. Like, I'm actually gaining ground here. Maybe I should continue to try. I think JorDan, with the extra gold and that stone there, and with how exposed Hera's eco is back here, he should finish off this game now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the major aspects that JorDan's been struggling with has been the siege, but he's got 2 trebuchets, 3 bombard cannons, all of which have siege engineers.
Yes.
So they can knock down buildings quite quickly.
Yeah, and Hera now has to finally address an army. If he does not address this army, it could be over for him shortly. So he has to build up buildings over here, which he didn't have to do before. His skirms are actually in the other corner right now, so that's where a big mass of Hera's military is. JorDan just lost 25 villagers building a castle, though.
You know what's better than 1 Doubt Castle T90?
Oh, God. He's about to have more army than Eco or Lu.
Oh, no.
I can't look at it. He's going to get it up, right?
I can't look away from it. The point in the game when the casting just becomes,
That's all this is. Oh.
I know, man.
I mean, Hera's pushing on the right now. Like, Hera's going to push back that castle. I'm so concerned for JorDan, but I think he can still do it. 110 armies, a lot to deal with right now, especially the combination of halves and karambits. This game is insane. Hera needs to push the right side really fast, though. He needs to gain up ground here because he has lost a lot of it on the left.
And the fact that there's these lakes in the the sides of the map, it really means you don't have as much space for farming, which is going to become a big issue for Hera since he's making 2 pretty food-intensive units with skirms and light cav.
Yep. Oh my God, this is messy. More skirm production from JorDan in the middle, though. The skirms are going to slowly whittle down what Hera has. Also, the halbs are in position for JorDan. Okay, I think we've arrived at the point. Deep breaths, everyone. I think, finally, JorDan is going to close this out. He does have double castle in that right corner as well. Still has well-placed castles, so if raids happen, he should be safe. Now it would make sense for Hera to consider to call the GG.
Yeah, he just doesn't really have a lot going for him at this point. Before, it's like, okay, at least have like these big counterattacks that I can try and make something happen with, keep JorDan from really pressuring me and pushing me off the map.
Yep.
But we're kind of past that point, and Hera is being pushed off of the map into the void.
Yep. As someone so kindly points out, Hera does still have 2 very forward pigs. Keeping an eye on that wood line.
Those 2.
I can't not look at any blue dots in the back of JorDan's eco right now because he could be losing 20 more vills. So I had to look, and it's pigs.
Yeah, it's just pigs.
Hera 140 pop. Obviously, he's put up some crazy fight here. He's also cleaned up a lot of armies, and he will see the trebs now. And he took out 1 anyways, and he takes a bombard cannon.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing the amount of villagers that he would really need as we... Hey, there we go, baby.
There we go.
Supplies! There's Force Levy. Better late than never, I guess. And yeah, that is a fantastic tech for this stage of the game when the gold is all but gone. Oh my God. Another castle for JorDan to secure some gold that was actually being taken by Hera before the raid started. And Hera's pop's still 140 as he's just holding to the southern corner here.
Yeah, and I mean, JorDan, he still has a very good, I think, just awareness of map control.
Yeah,
and
he does.
What are the important points to secure on the map as he's just sort of slowly creeping forward and just making the map more red than blue.
Yep, it will take him a bit. He has to go from man-at-arms to long swords and then to two-handed swordsman, but then now the two-handed swordsman will only cost food. And if that's the case, and Hera's only making skirmishers, the two-handed swordsman will do very well. He also has the barracks as well in some positions, more so the north of his base. 160 pop for Hera. Again, a situation. Jordan gets the lead, and he doesn't go for the kill, but I think it's less important than it was before.
Like, how can you lose?
Yeah, but like before it was an issue that he didn't go for the kill. Now, I don't think it is because Hera has so little map control. There's no way, if Hera doesn't have the left side of his base, I don't see how he could ever push this back.
He's going to run out of wood control very soon.
Yeah.
And this is where Chinese not having crop rotation is actually a bit of a downside because of their team bonus. When Malay do have crop rotation, if you really want to play that game.
Well, we have no crop rotation, so it's sad that
it's
example
so
doesn't matter
disappointing.
here. But yeah. It's funny, I feel like when I see crop rotation, it's in a situation where it never benefits. But then there's so many games that go long, and then yet crop rotation is available and it's not chosen. Honestly, I think what it is, I think the messy games lead to people forgetting that, and the messy games always go late. That's my theory.
And it's a tech that's more of an insurance policy than anything that's going to benefit you in the very near future.
Yep.
And I just feel like if you're in a relatively stable position in Imperial Age, just pick it up. Like 250 food and wood, that's not really that much in Imperial Age.
Jordan's not getting careening, so his ships will have more armor. I mean, I really do like Galleon on the shoreline, right?
Yes.
I had no issue with the docks. Even Thalassocracy I'm okay with. It was just the shipwright. Can you tell people what shipwright is and the exact stats on that? Because I always forget the specifics.
It makes your ships cost 20% less wood, and it makes them produce 35% faster.
Okay, so he spent 1,000 food and 300 gold for that at a very crucial moment. I think that was the thing. Oh, Jordan. Well, the good news for Jordan is he can laugh about this later. If he lost this game, then it's a different scenario. He's got 6 castles on the map. He still didn't get the only relic, but if Hera loses his Arbalest, he just cannot replenish them, and Hera will eventually, as you said, run out of wood. A very long game, a very painful game at times, but Jordan gets the job done, and forgetting some of the late game stuff, honestly, Ornlu, it was the perfect home map for Jordan.
Yes.
Hera struggled. He made a second barracks. He made a second blacksmith. He felt as though he was going to be all in, and then he wasn't. Jordan, a bit passive at times, but he got the job done here. He did control the whole map. And I'm sure if we check, he probably collected more resources in this game as well. And more of everything. It just took a while to actually finish the guy off.
And something that is also just very true of the tippy top players is that they're just really hard to kill. Like,
yeah, they are.
Hera making Jordan work for every inch of that map, and that just goes to show how good Hera is, even if he's in a dreadful position. It's just, you don't get a free win.
Now, since Hera had opportunities that I didn't think would actually arise here, I think the thing you had to do if you're Hera is you had to take down the castles, right? And he stayed alive, and he got raids in. But I don't remember him successfully taking out more than one castle. And that was a struggle for him, whether it was due to the lack of gold or it was just due to the fact that Jordan was kind of everywhere. I'm not so sure. But I felt like maybe Siege Ram would have been a successful thing to mix in with his trash units. 5 Siege Rams clears up all the production buildings for Jordan on the side, and it might have taken Jordan some time to deal with that.
And I think the lack of a long-term gold unit was also just a big issue. Because that's where Chinese can really thrive, is like if you get that massive Chukonu going, or even just a huge massive Arbalests, you can keep those alive much more so than anything that Malay can really do. I guess they can get their own Arbs, but I feel like the long-term gold value is something that Chinese can make happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Mongols versus Aztecs. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Last one was a big one for Jordan. This is on Hera's home map. Hera also, I mean, the way I see this here for Game 3 is if Hera loses this game, not only does he lose and go down 2-1, but then he doesn't have Mongols available for a map that has 100-plus gear, which we thought he was going to save Mongols for. So there goes Jordan with his Eagle. And there's Hera, and Hera does have his Hunt on the front. His Rhino's on the back. He'll probably want to bring that bad boy in early just in case it gets lamed, but this is Serengeti.
It's Serengeti. You only have that one rhino, elephant, boar equivalent. And Hera's going to be here in the blue as the Mongols to the southeast, and to the west in the red as the Ginning loom on 6 pop. is going to be JorDan, trying to return to Age of Conquerors when Aztecs got Loom for free.
Yep. All right, so here's the deal. It's very important for JorDan that he ends up finding his opponent's base. If he goes to the north now, he would be incorrect. Still looking. The villager might go the other direction. So far, JorDan's risk to lame is not paying off. If only he knew where Hera was located. That would make such a big difference for him. I don't like how he's taking the same path with the villager. It's also a little bit more difficult to find out where the opponent is because of the way the golds work. But yeah, okay, here he comes. He saw 2 tiles of gold. It would be 3 tiles of gold or 4 tiles of gold if it was near Hera's base, and this is all he wanted to do.
Yep, going to be shooting down those ostrich and zebra. And that's certainly going to be annoying because your hunt is just such an important early source of food income. Now, does this version of Serengeti have more berries than normal? Because I seem to remember Serengeti having like 4 berry patches.
Honestly, I don't think we made any major changes to the way this map works. So I'm going to assume it's standard. But you would know better than I would if that's what you think, because I don't know.
Well, this version doesn't have any cracked terrain. The hills are a bit smaller. And
we also removed, I think it was either that or Kilimanjaro that had, it had the shorefish and a couple of like the water areas. I think that might have been Kilimanjaro, but we did remove that.
Kilimanjaro had more of it, but Serengeti had some as well.
Okay, so I guess to answer your question, the main thing that we changed was just the water aspect. Garrett is not getting loom. But what does he think is going to happen here with the forward villager? This could easily lead to him losing a villager here. Okay, in the end, his villagers have to run away, but there's still only 1 tree. So JorDan, honestly, JorDan should palisade the lumber camp. That's what he should do. Palisade the lumber camp and be super annoying with that villager.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's smart. I know it's like a lot of people are going to be like, God, this is gross, but it's a risk to send a villager forward. He researched Loom really early, so he's been down a villager because of that. And just do anything to make Hera's life more difficult here as the Mongols.
And that's why I think I'm largely okay with most forms of laming that aren't just like stealing a boar with your scout or whatever, because this has a very like fixed real cost for JorDan.
Yeah,
because the villager is forward. It's doing, relative damage to your economy by not having it gather resources. So
yeah, this villager could have collected a lot of resources. Plus, Hera's bringing in resources much faster than JorDan could ever do. For JorDan, he sometimes will miss out on resources at his base. He is missing a lot, actually. He's 2 goats there. I think Hera might have actually found some and looped them around. He's bringing them back in by his woodline right now. I think those are extra goats, so that could be 4 goats down for JorDan. So you could also make big arguments. This lame is really not worth it for him.
And there are the other goats that have been found.
Oh, yeah, there's the other 2 as well.
Yep.
Yep, this is laming for you. Sometimes it pays off, like in Game 5 versus Tato. He definitely gained a nice lead because of it, but...
is he really giving the goats to his opponent?
What?
What?
Hera's giving the goats to the guy that just lamed him?
Man, Hera!
I think JorDan feels a little disrespected by that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you do not want your opponent to gift you anything here. Hera with the heart. That's interesting, because Hera's words... JorDan says that's a moral slap in my face now. Ugh, that's weird. Hera literally said to me, with JorDan, right? Because I had said that someone said that like JorDan would be allowed to win by Tato. Hera literally used the words. He's like, yeah, but competitors don't want to be gifted things. He's like, they want to earn it. And now he's just giving food to JorDan to give him more of a chance here. So a little bit of banter back and forth. And JorDan maybe calling Hera out for some other aspects of hypocrisy. But I mean, the hypocrisy helps JorDan, so whatever, I guess.
I mean, yeah, and I think that nobody is, like, letting anybody win. Oh, my God. He's going to send the goats forward again.
What? Okay, so you know what I think? I think JorDan, like, Hera deserves to lose this game. Like, okay, so, like, I get it, right? Hera's confident and all that, but gifting 400 food when your opponent has taken a risk in a tournament is a bad look in my opinion. We'll see what Hera does with the follow-up. Dang, man.
Well, I would say it would be some sweet karma if Hera lost.
Yeah, but like that bothers me. I get it like in a ranked game or whatever.
Yeah. Ranked is like a completely different beast.
That's not even the same conversation, but
yeah.
geez. It might affect JorDan too. Like maybe that's it. Maybe JorDan's like, oh my god, didn't finish off the previous game as quickly as I should have. Now he's gifting me goats. How can I ever beat this guy? But I like how JorDan was so specific. That's a moral slap in my face. Yeah, because that
such a
lame
JorDan thing to say.
Yeah, that's a very JorDan thing. All right, well, quick walls for JorDan. He's expecting scouts. Is worth mentioning, Hera was delayed because he didn't have his barracks on time. So just now, does he have 3 scouts out to kill villagers? We have the range now for JorDan. I know it's a very fast start for Hera, but honestly, Hera would be in a dream scenario if he would have never given those goats to his opponent here. And JorDan will go for range. He was going to build up towards feudal age eco. Remember, the Mongols have their fast start, but now the hunt's gone. So there's no hunt bonus to utilize if you're the Mongols. And you do need to be worried about a spearman archer play if you're going scouts.
Yeah, and JorDan is going to be at least faster in working towards what you could call a more substantive army in terms of actually taking these fights. Going to now go over to the gold, I guess taking some small advantage of Aztecs, starting with a little bit more. Get at least a couple of archers out.
And JorDan wasn't on gold at the time he would have wanted, but he's going to go to gold now, which is fine with Aztecs because you do start with more. And right now he's on 3 spearmen, working his way towards 4 right now. Still has his starting eagle as well, which he's going to move out with and then move home with. And I think Hera is going to be questioning what's he making if he's not on gold. And now he sees the villagers on gold, and JorDan goes boop and gets the walls down. Well played, JorDan. And now there's a lot of spearmen out there, so Hera's going to add the archer range at home. And honestly, like Hera's execution on this is near flawless right now. He hasn't taken any unnecessary hits in his scouts, and he's going to be making archers here on though.
Yep, was also able to squeeze in the horse collar upgrade, so that's a small little edge that Hera's going to have over his opponent, just that greater efficiency when it comes to wood to food. And, ooh,
wow, the scouts all got hits there in that one volley there, and yeah, that's a nice pickoff there from Hera. This is the fast start that the Mongols can bring you. Remember, this is with that bit of a lame earlier. And they just beat you to the next step. And here come the archers for Hera. I say archers, he's just going to have 1. About to be 2. But I like going archers as opposed to going for skirms. Because the archers will be more helpful if the opponent mixes in eagles.
Yeah, I totally agree. And just having that anti-skirmisher unit in the feudal age that you don't need to build a stable and spend a ton of food on, I think is just one of the main reasons that the American civs are so good. So just not even bothering with skirmishers if you don't have to. I think it's just going to be a more solid all-around play.
Okay, here comes the army. Now, JorDan's got to keep everything together here, and you could tell Hera considered going over to JorDan's base. Saw the spearmen, thought twice about it. Now he's just waiting to pounce. If he can micro down 2 of these spearmen, I think he can take the fight. Here's the engagement, but JorDan will use his own archers to take out the enemy archers, and JorDan, you can tell the regret. He's like, he gave me sheep. I thought he would let me win the fight, too.
Oh, no!
Oh, God, that's a really bad fight for JorDan. Did get some hits in there on the scouts that I didn't think Hera would allow him to have, but this is the Mongols, and this is Hera with full control here. Tower for JorDan now. And he's going to add the second archer range.
I do like that. I feel like just committing to a lot of army on this map is very helpful since you're not really able to wall super comfortably.
Yep.
The tower is in a nice spot, but at the end of the day, that KD is not looking so good for JorDan, and that's something that he's really going to need to address if he doesn't want to just die.
Yeah. I mean, the eco KD is the important thing, and I think Castle Age is where Aztecs tend to shine. So if this turns into all-in Eagle Spearman, Knight Crossbow is a bit harder to get to than just Scout Archer at the moment.
Yeah.
Walls for JorDan on the backside, very important so the scouts can't ever loop around. The tower I don't mind because it is an all-in scenario oftentimes on this map anyways. And I think JorDan's done an okay job, but I could see the conflict in his mind. You know, here we are, we've said, hey, You got to be less passive, and then he finally moves out, and then he just loses his army. So definitely seem conflicted on what to do. But again, Hera, you know, it had some words, clearly just joking around a bit. Gave those sheep back, and he said something like, "You'll need them." Is that what he said?
Something like that.
Something like that. You'll learn for next time, he said. Okay, I got you. Well, so far, Hera's showing that there might not be a strong future in this game for JorDan. He's on his way up already.
Something I feel like Hera's really good about is just adding those farms in super early on.
Yep.
And it feels like relative to, you know, the other top players in a generic scenario, he's a bit faster up to Castle Age because of it.
Oh, yeah. His eco transitions are really strong. But in situations where there's water, that can sometimes hurt him, right? On Houseboat, he was really fast to farms, but he completely forgot about the fishing ships. Just didn't prioritize that in the same level I think you sometimes need to in some situations. So.
Yeah.
Oh, also Hera overextending there. Maybe he was looking for his sheep underneath the TC. They're not there anymore.
No, they have been devoured at this stage, but JorDan's going to be on his way up to Castle Age, and with scale barding armor coming in, are we going to see Step Lancers again?
I think you've got to go Knights in most cases, but when the map is open, I love the idea of mixing in a Step Lancer or two to pick off villagers. He does have a big army mass. I love how Hera didn't stop with the archers. I think having a combination of crossbowmen with stable units is what's important here. Because if it's just stable units, then the Aztecs will just go Eagle Spearman. Or even just Eagle Monk becomes a lot harder if the opponent has crossbow to range them.
Yeah, and anything that you can do to prevent Aztecs from just absolutely leaning on the pressure and keeping you in your base. Like, if you can keep Aztecs on the defensive, then they're going to be in a pretty awkward situation. So Hera able to just scoop up crossbow and bodkin. And JorDan is making that transition over into the infantry. He has the triple barracks. So actually second tower coming as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this is at least on brand.
Yeah, I don't mind the second tower if you're getting your ranged upgrades, but I just prefer it be positioned a bit more over towards the wood line just in case. Thankfully for JorDan, though, Hera seems to be really focused on this farming area. Hera's getting light cav now. All right, he does have 6 scouts that he could upgrade. And he's got crossbow, and it will be eagles and not crossbowmen for JorDan. I think JorDan was really hoping Hera would stop with the archer production.
Yeah, well, he's not. I mean, Hera, he is a knight crossbow kind of player. Just likes those double gold army compositions, and specifically those 2 units, as they do complement each other super well. And if we're seeing a Castle Age where Mongols are having an advantage over Aztecs, then you know something is going really wrong for JorDan, as he's just going to struggle to move out of his base at this point.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, in a normal game, Hera could go for a second TC and gain a big boom lead, yada, yada, yada. If Hera tries to do that, like, if he can't find more villager kills, Aztecs can always bring it back. And especially if they have a lot of villagers on gold, which currently is the case for JorDan. So if he hasn't been able to take a good fight, he's not in a position even now to take a good fight. And I think this will start to get awkward for him as Hera loops his way around. But there is a world where maybe if Hera overextends, that the eagle play can get out of hand here. See, JorDan, he's got so many different things to worry about. He saves that villager there as the eagles and the spearmen chase off the light cap. The repathing from the units.
Oh, DE, please.
I know that was not Hera's mistake. I know that's very much the patch we're on right now, because that's been happening all the time. The knights are underneath the gold, though. Hera's still on the farms. And this pressure, now it's finally adding up.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the straw that broke the Eagle Warrior's back at this point.
JorDan just cannot get that mass. He won't be able to get the mass if he can't take the gold. And the rest of his gold is far out of his reach here. Still has 21 army, though. Still has 21 army. If Hera runs into the towers too frequently, if Hera makes any mistakes, could always swing back. But Hera is playing amazing right now. This is why JorDan picked Houseboat. because Hera on the land map is just You could argue he's the best player on land maps right now. I think Viper is very near his peak at the moment. He gave himself an 8 out of 10. So I think if they're both at their peak, they're head to head. But
what is this? The Red Bull power ranking?
yeah, right. I did ask him if he felt he was 7 out of 10. He said 8. So.
Oh, okay. Well.
He was also 8 out of 10 before I had my say on strategy for Red Bull.
Oh, okay.
Because he had made some really bad decisions, and I was the only guy who was like, do you not remember this game and that game? Like, just because it's Viper, we can't give him 8 out of 10. And then he found out later, and he said, of course, it was you. And yeah, this might be over, and it is over. Hera donates the sheep to JorDan. They laugh about it, and JorDan dies. What a game from Hera.
You know, every story needs a villain. And, well, Hera, with the, oh yeah, have your sheep back, I don't need them, and getting the win.
It's cheeky, man. And, you know, I know them, they talk a lot in the ladder, you know, so they're always bantering back and forth. But for JorDan to make that journey forward and be as ruthless as possible and then just receive his sheep and still lose the game anyways has to get in his head a little bit. But
not only did he lose the game, it's 4 kills to 25 deaths.
Yeah, it's really bad. Honestly, you know, the reason you try and lane for JorDan is because you want to stop the Mongols from being able to do that as successfully. Hera didn't really seem to care that much. He just played, he did his thing, and JorDan was so late to feudal age here. I really think that's the difference. So the final map for Hera is going to be Jungle Swamp. Now, Mongols look good, and Mongols have been really good in this event. But if we were to get to a Game 5, which would mean that JorDan would win on Arena next, and then we would move back to Hera's final home map, which is Jungle Swamp. Hera won't have the Mongols on a map with over 100 deer. So I think JorDan's going to think, okay, well, I lost to Mongols. That's fine. I might have an answer to Mongols if I can win on Arena. Do we both agree that Turks are the go-to here? Like, Turks are, let's just say, the best civilization here?
Out of the ones that JorDan had available, yeah, certainly.
But I guess, like, in the matchup itself, like, if you had to play me in a 1v1 game with this matchup, which civilization would you prefer?
Yeah, Turks.
Okay, yeah. I'm thinking
because you would find yourself getting 26 pop light cap plus castle dropped.
That's genuinely a good build, though. That is genuinely
Yes.
a good build. I'm not sure about the highest level, but I've had it happen to me before, and I've done a lot against it and felt like I was going to win and then rip. So Hera goes for the Cumans. We're thinking 2TC boom, mini boom, and feudal age. The build order that Ornlu's talking about is to go fast castle with the Turks and then waltz forward and then use the light cav to protect the map and then drop a castle on their face. But they're close. They're really close. JorDan might actually consider just dropping the castle on his face without the light cav.
You know, you have the meme where it's like the mid elo players are like super angry about something stupid happening, and it works at like the low elos and the high elos.
Yeah,
I feel like castle dropping on arena is kind of like that, where
yeah,
it's like mid elo, you know, not really a great idea most of the time, but I mean it can work.
I honestly, so this is what would be going through my head if I'm JorDan. If you go for light cav just to get the relics, it's not easy to compete with Hera's economy. Like, the Cuman economy on 2TCs is just insane. Particularly when they get to Castle Age, they have a lot of food. And with that food, they could probably spend more resources to take map control. And then you always have the Cuman capped ram in the back of your mind. They could push. I just wouldn't be comfortable allowing Hera to just boom. And on Arena, you kind of have to. But on the same time, it's just so tempting to just go for the relics because you have light cav. And that always makes you feel good. So on one hand, you want to castle drop this guy, and I think it could be awesome. On the other hand, that doesn't fit JorDan's style or maybe how he feels about the situation. So I don't know. But I personally, from an entertainment standpoint, and with this map generation, do feel like if there's never a better time for JorDan to just castle drop and go Janissary.
Oh, yeah. And no matter what Hera is doing, it will likely involve a fast feudal age into not a super fast castle age.
Exactly. Yep.
And if you're going to go for like a castle drop and you're gathering stone, if Hera was to say wanting to go for like a ton of feudal age aggression, which I guess is not too likely because these have 1800 HP. So it's not like we're going to see some Venturina games.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, yeah, really the only logical thing to do with humans is 2 TC boom.
Yeah, and I also think if you don't castle drop, that it makes the 2 TC play a little bit stronger, actually. Because they can... The best strategy I've seen with the 2 TC mini boom is build up towards a castle and a fast imp. And if they can just, like, drop a castle in their base, fake 5 kip checks for map control, drop the next castle and be trebbing you down, you could potentially have some big problems. But, man, the distance just makes it so much more complicated than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think that that whole strategy that you're talking about is just really powerful in general. But if Turks are to the Imperial Age faster, they don't even need a castle to take down your castle since of the free chemistry and getting those bombard cannons. That could be a little bit of an issue.
If my timings are correct, though, you should be an imp at 20, like 5:30 or something off a 2 TC boom.
Yes.
And that should always beat a 3 TC imp time if the guy is making light cav. Now, granted, maybe JorDan doesn't make any light cav because he doesn't feel the need to do so, and he has a starting scout, but Hera will always have his starting scout as well. I don't know. Man, I just feel like if this was an arena tournament with, like, John Slow versus Draken or something, right? If we had clowns here... Yes, JorDan's going to stone! If we had clowns, this would be a castle drop. This would... Yeah. Oh, such a good spot for a castle drop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the forward main gold, too, man.
Mm-hmm. Hera probably... And Hera doesn't know how close they are. Now, Hera wouldn't change his strategy at all, right? That'd be very uncommon for him to change his strategy. I think you have to do this regardless, but he's going to see the walls, and he's going to be like, oh, of all the times to be this close, why when I pick this Civ, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why now? Hera should be fine. I'm curious where he makes his second TC. 99% of the time, it will always be on a wood line because you need to prioritize wood and food at the start, so...
Or when I do it, I TC what I think is a wood line, but it's just a straggler tree, and then... You know,
oh, dude, that's me with my lumber camps right there. I'll try and place my lumber camp way too early because I don't want someone to screenshot me taking a straggler tree even for a second in Dark Age. And, yeah, but here come the villagers. It should be 8 or 9 villagers building per the testing that people have done over the past year or two. And actually I don't love the TC because... I get what he's trying to do. It's closer to the stone, but it's actually... he's going to chop through that wood pretty early, but he does have the wood line on the other side, so I suppose that's fine.
You know what? It's an okay TC.
Okay, so Hera sees the walls. He does not see the stone being mined. Have to imagine that Hera's scout is going to stay out there. JorDan also has gone up on 25 pop. Now, I would go 27, but I don't play a lot of arena. That's like my old build order for a castle drop is always 27 pop.
Yeah, you can go much more aggressive than that. People have gotten good at castle dropping.
And I imagine you're going to have the market anyways, so you can probably use the market if need be.
Yeah.
I would probably have 3 on gold and 3 on stone. That way, I'd be able to buy 100 more food off this population.
Well, the 2 on gold is probably just because he's Turks.
Yeah, no, I get it. But, like, I'm just not seeing the food for him right now. But I'm sure maybe it'll probably end up being there. He does have 2 sheep. There's the 2 CCs. I love how Hera's placing his houses in the back. That's an underrated move.
Yes.
Just to get it out of the way.
That's something that I do in all my clown games. Just make a nice row of houses along the back of the map.
Yeah, most players don't do that at a high level. I don't know if Hera will do it over the rest of the game, but I noticed a lot of the arena guys, like John Slow, always houses along the backside.
Yep. That and moving your relics into a back monastery.
Yep. Hera doesn't see the stone. Oh, man. This is going to be so fun. I can't wait for this.
I know.
This is going to be so sick. This could be the best game of the day.
This is the sort of game we need 8 hours into the stream.
Yeah, and listen, I don't love Arena until I love Arena, and this is the moment where I love it. The light cav versus light cav, the spearman skirt, that stuff's not that entertaining to me. But when the maps get closer, when the Civ matchups are so different like this, man, is it interesting. And
Yep.
Hera's like, please go light calf. Please go light calf. 'Cause he does not want to deal with this. And JorDan will be able to fight off Hera's scout with his light calf. So there's no way that Hera can really contest a castle. And if Hera were to somehow time it and try and drop a tower to deny the castle, he can't because he only has 100 stone because he went for the TC. So I'm excited. He is taking the back gold, though, so he's thinking that's maybe a possibility.
And I feel like if you're playing humans versus Turks, you have to be just terrified of getting, your face wrecked in.
Yeah. So if JorDan scouted the stone and the gold on the front, let me see. Okay, so something that I do, and I have one too many clowny games on my resume. I love my castle drops to be next to a resource I can immediately take.
Oh, look at this.
What's that?
Oh, I love this.
Oh, he's sneaking it.
He's sneaking out.
it. He doesn't necessarily have to be that sneaky, but I guess it depends on where he places the castle. He didn't have loom, and how far forward does he place this? Okay, he places it. Hera can see that.
Yeah.
And Hera with the moves, he's going to try and trap, but nope. Actually would have been horrible for him, I think, because the light cap would have made it in.
Yeah.
He didn't have the walls down, so it's good for JorDan, or good for Hera that JorDan didn't follow.
Now,
Oh,
it's
God.
super important Hera has backstone.
Yes.
If Hera's stone was where his main gold is, like, this might as well just be GG.
Yeah, but what does he do now? So a lot of players now will idle their TC, so you just stop making vills because you already have such a big vill lead. This is something I struggle with Kumans. If I have the TCs, I want to make villagers with them, and sometimes that can hurt you. So you should just stop. He'll have his blacksmith, he'll have his market, then he can click up to Castle Age, probably with the forward one. JorDan, you see what I mean about these vills? They now have nothing to collect, right? And they're going to walk across the map. I really feel like, particularly with the all-ins, if you can have a gold to mine immediately after your castle drop, you can use the market and benefit in a big way. Also, is JorDan not going to go for siege?
Yeah, where's the siege workshop? He has a monastery?
I mean, he's going to get the relics, I guess. But I'm very surprised he's not even going to try and follow this up with siege.
Like, mangonels are just so good against a dude who's stuck in feudal age. Because Hera's on his way up to Castle Age. He's mining stone with 11 villagers. He is going to be fine if JorDan doesn't come in and really just hit that nail with the hammer that is the Janissary.
I guess the Mangonel actually has less range than the Jans. So the Jans could still deny a castle quite easily. Hera has to abandon a lot of the front area of his eco. And the risk, of course, when you go all in against Kumans is if you overinvest and you don't do enough damage. But I always feel like you almost have to overinvest sometimes.
That's just how humans are.
JorDan, unfortunate. It really looked like he was going to get a kill there. But his Janissaries are just sitting next to the house, thinking about running through. Where will Hera place the castle? He could... Ooh, I don't know. I think maybe you delete some farms next to your TC and place it there.
That's greedy. I'm totally fine placing it between the two TCs, just to the right of the stone mine.
Yeah, in the back. Yeah. JorDan getting the relics right now. He's got one. Hera's scout could actually go out and contest that. But he's got a lot in his mind right now.
Oh, this is looking pretty rough for JorDan, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, Hera is like 20 villagers ahead right now. They're both in Castle Age. Got the castle on the way, Bodkin. So once some Kipchoks come in, they can dart around the Janissaries quite effectively.
JorDan's going to try and go fast imp now. I really would have preferred he just go Janissary Mangonel. Because in order to go fast imp, you have to stop making all military and make villagers. And so this plays right into the Kuman strengths, does it not? If Hera senses this is the case, he just rams it down with Capped Rams and Castle Age and the game's over.
If you're going to go for this style, you click up on like 27, 28 pop. And then you can still go for the castle drop just fine, but your Imperial Age is going to be so much stronger. You're going to have a bit of a healthier economy, and you're not going to need to use the market as much.
This is JorDan. I don't think JorDan is used to this type of a game.
Yeah.
And so the castle drop is the correct call. Let's see if Hera's used to this type of a game, though, right? Because, like, Hera might not sense that this is happening, and then, in theory, Trebs and Bomber Cannons could start to be a problem for him. But, I mean, he should just be able to clear up the Janissaries once he gets a couple kip checks. He's going to have, like, a 40 or 50 villager lead over Jordan.
Heading the third TC is, I think, remarkably greedy, but okay. Like, if I'm in Hera's position, I know I have a huge Vill lead. Just get to the Imperial Age, and then, you know, get some Trebs out.
Yep.
Maybe go for the Ram play if you need to, but his unit's going to be better in a straight-up fight.
4 relics for Jordan is really nice. He might not get the 5th. The kip checks had moved out for Hera. I don't think Hera knows that Jordan's up, because with that score lead, that could easily just be the fact that you're booming.
Yeah.
And so this will be Janissary Bomber Cannon. Now, every single Bomber Cannon and Janissary is important here. Chemistry is instant. You can make the Bomber Cannons right away. But I think once the castle's no longer in the picture... Geez, even with the castle in the picture, shouldn't be that hard for Hera to use the kip checks to focus this stuff down. I think.
I do like how Jordan's picking up the padded archer armor upgrade, as just having even just a little bit of armor versus those kip chalks with their very low base damage is going to be quite helpful. And 4 relics does bolster your economy somewhat. But this game is just on a razor's edge.
Yeah, I mean, everything has to work perfectly for Jordan. He's put a lot of pressure on himself here, and he has to win this game. Otherwise, he goes out here in the quarterfinals. Now, if Hera had rams or something right now, and he could ram into Jordan's base, Jordan would be screwed. But look at Jordan. He expects this possibility. And so he's actually housewalling. I love that decision.
Yeah.
He also has more Janissaries than maybe I expected. He needs to buy some wood, but he can open with a Bombard Cannon. And Hera only has 10 kip checks. I mean... Hera's going to need something more than just the kip checks, possibly, and he's going to go for all these knights now. So Hera has to go all in castle against it. Let's go, baby. Ooh. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to see double siege workshop at this point if I'm Hera.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
You need to have the double siege workshop production to get rams going, especially if you're using one to research capped ram, which I think would be quite helpful. But at least your stables are cheaper, and he's going light cav, which I don't really understand.
I absolutely love. Maybe he feels like he's going to run out of gold soon. He will, I guess. But I absolutely love how Jordan's not making Trebs. He's just like, I need army, and my siege is the Bombard Cannons. 14 Janissaries is no joke here. 90 villagers for Hera. He's backed into a corner. He cannot take his main golds. This is why this is an amazing arena game. Even the monk coming forward to get conversions can be so helpful.
Yep.
And now the castle's going to be the focus.
Janissaries. Oh, Kipchaks are starting to dart in. Jordan just got to shoot and scoot.
Monk might get a conversion. Nope, doesn't get it.
Those Kipchaks are hardcore. They're not going to change sides like that.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at Hera's production. Now, he needs houses now, too. I would like to see a few knights mixed in instead of just the light cav. But I guess he feels like he's really on the clock. And here he shows up. He wants to snipe the Bombard Cannons. Oh, they're taking so little damage against his unit.
Okay, honestly, I wouldn't have hated Step Lancers.
Okay.
They're more gold efficient than Knights, and they're also really good at just running in and killing Bombard Cannons.
That's a very Ornlu comment. However, I agree with that statement. And I'm not saying, okay, that came out wrong. Comment,
but to my surprise,
that came out wrong, but...
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Okay, all right. Okay, sorry. I should have rephrased that comment. I really should have rephrased it. But I still stand by it, Ornlu. I still stand by it. As Jordan tries to push in here. Oh, God. Well, lots of light cav on the map. It's still, if Hera clears this, I think he could win this game. He's also going to try and scoot out of his base and take the extra gold. Jordan is scared about this, but Jordan, you have to be pressuring the castles all the time.
Yeah.
Adding the TCs is not going to help you. It's all military, all pushing, and big shots there. I honestly don't even think, like, okay, so obviously you don't want Hera to take gold, but you chasing down 10 villagers here means you're now pushing the main base, which just gives Hera more and more time, right? It's really tricky in these scenarios, but you have to push that castle.
Yeah, and Castle is completely full of Kipchaks, so you really need to be careful not to stray into its arrow fire, because it's going to fire a bajillion arrows. But yeah, you need to start putting Hera on a clock. It drops 2 TCs on the outside. I do love this from JorDan. Just send 2 Janissaries over. 2 Janissaries here accomplish mostly the same thing as like 8. So
I think Hera's playing this perfectly, though. Like, he's been so patient. He knows that JorDan's economy is fragile, and he's just waiting. And every time he pops out, JorDan has to respect it, and JorDan stops attacking. And the military count's insane right now for Hera.
Oh, my God.
Could have maybe even been more patient, but he decides to take the fight now. The Light Cav are here. The Kipchaks will take out the Janissaries. And if the Janissaries aren't here, JorDan will be dead. I think this is the end. Great patience from Hera. There's simply too fragile of a push for this to work. 100 villagers versus 40. JorDan's push is stalled. JorDan's at the limit with resources. I don't know. Like, maybe with the relics you hold on here. There's the siege workshops for Hera Ornlu, and we know what's coming.
Yep. Going to be going for that big ram push. And I agree. Hera plays perfectly.
Yep.
You know, humans can't build stone walls, so it makes sense. Just delete your stone walls. This is just not a stone wall save.
Yeah. Yeah, he just wants to free up the space because now it's Arabia for him. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
70 vill lead or 60 vill lead, and you can do whatever you want with the map control. It's fine. You could also make a siege workshop to ram into JorDan's base, and JorDan would have to respect that.
Yep.
I really feel like staying in Castle Age was the play here for JorDan.
Yes.
And going for Mangonel and Janissaries is the play. Because in the amount of time it took him to actually pose a threat, Hera had exploded in economy, and Hera never lost a TC. Like, you take out that front TC, and you make it so Hera might have to make military sooner than he did have to here, and I think that makes a difference.
Yeah, because even when you're humans, going for a bunch of knights in Castle Age is really expensive.
Yeah.
But the fact that Hera didn't have to make army until he was, like, on his way to the Imperial Age, or not on the way to the Imperial Age, but until
JorDan
was on his way to the Imperial Age,
yeah.
It's just really tough.
Now, it's a little different if your unit doesn't cost food and gold, too. Like, there are some civs I think can get away with this a little bit more. But he had to cut Janissary production to go Imp, which I think is half the issue. And Hera's still just waiting. I mean, it's 60 pop versus 150. Hera should just make sure he gets all the crucial upgrades. Like, he's getting the attack upgrades now for his Light Cav, which is perfect. But I have to say, Hera made this look easy as well, right? He has a habit of doing that. He made this look very easy. JorDan's approach was punished quite badly by Hera, but there's still maybe not many players out there who would have handled it with such ease.
It's almost like Hera's plays like, oh yeah, isn't this just like the obvious thing to do? But it's really not, and the game was at so many points very fragile.
Yep.
But now Hera's swooping in with an enormous army. Those bombard cannons honestly get an amazing couple of hits, but it's not likely going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, everything's dying here. Okay, bombard cannon will obviously go down though. The Janissaries have got amazing oh my god!
T90.
I mean, I'm just waiting for the Rams, but okay, JorDan will continue here. That was really bad. That was really, really bad.
Oh my, why did he not push with the Rams?
Yeah, I don't know why the Rams were not involved in that. But I think it has something to do with the fact that we did just compliment him. It seems to be the theme. We should have saved our praise till after the game.
Yeah, you'd think we'd learn at some point.
He does have I don't know how much this really matters against Light Cav because you don't see this every day, but he does have full armor.
It does matter for sure. I mean, Light Cav have a fairly low base attack.
What is it, 7?
Yeah.
7 attack.
I mean, they have iron casting.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, he does have gold now, so I still would like, instead of making Kipchaks, I'd prefer to him just make Knights.
Or Step Lancers.
Or
you got 55 on food, 11 on gold. That's Step Lancer eco.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially with the way these Janissaries clump up, I think it would really help.
Yep.
But still, I mean, Hera can afford to toss away his men. That's the thing. He could justify it. every single time, and this is always going to continue if JorDan can't push deeper and deeper into this economy, which he still cannot, as his Treb went down. And now the Rams hop out. There we go. Now the Rams, more like Cav, on the way. Hera's going to send himself to the semifinals with this. Full Castle Age push, though, Ornlu. This is why I was excited for this game, because this doesn't happen every day. And this is where JorDan will probably say good luck next.
I'd rather get owned by Light Cav than Hussar.
Yeah. Nice to see they're having fun there. JorDan obviously had a great showing to beat Tato to get here in the quarterfinals, but this wasn't good enough here against Hera. Hera will move on to the semis, as many probably expected. Remember, he was first in his group. And should be some awesome semifinals tomorrow here, Ornlu. I'm happy for JorDan. I'm also happy for, I'm happy for JorDan because he played so well. Obviously, he'll be back in the next edition in January-ish for Season 2. But also, I had to say, shout out to Vinchester out there if you're watching Vinch, because that does actually mean that Vinchester will be, regardless of what happens in his semifinal versus Hera, the next player to get an invite to Red Bull Wololo in October. So congrats to him. What a series. It was a fun series. I'm glad we had this game. I'm glad we had the Civ matchup, you know?
Yeah, this was a fun one. Good one to end the day on.
Now, I wish we could have the same matchup again, because I'm not even sure that Hera wouldn't have still gotten the victory. But I wish JorDan would have stayed in Castle Age, gone for heavy Janissary production instead of Imp and Mangonels. Because if that happens, I believe there's no way Hera ever expands to those extra resources. Hera would lose his starting TC, and then he's genuinely just stuck. Like, I think all-in Castle Age might have been the play, but I also do understand the temptation to maybe take advantage of free chemistry.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Especially if like going up on 25 pop, like that's an aggressive castle drop.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to just, like, the longer the game goes on, the worse it is for you, no matter what. So just go kill him.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind sticking around, we could actually interview the winner, Hera.
Yeah.
I ran to the bathroom and forgot one of my interviews earlier, so I'm trying to make sure that I remember to interview the winners like the procaster I am. I imagine you're probably in the Titans League Discord, so if you go in there, you should be able to join the interview channel, and we could do it there.
Okay.
So I'll see you there in a bit, all right?
See you in a bit.
And looks like, man, you're here before I am, dude. What is this? What's up? How's
I don't know.
it going?
Robo started talking and I got scared because I forgot someone was in the voice channel with me.
Oh,
And
my bad.
I didn't hear what he said, so I thought I had to join.
I got you.
I was like, okay.
Well, man, what an interesting series. Like that series had a lot of different games. But Hera, how are you feeling? Obviously, the full day you casted with me some, watching a lot of these games, and making it to another S tier event semifinal. What are your emotions?
I'm feeling very good, man. Feeling very good, man. So basically, like the games were very fun today, and I've really enjoyed casting the event as well. So it's just really happy emotions, basically.
Okay, cool. Game 1, I have to actually remind myself. Game 1. Oh, Golden Swamp. Okay, well, honestly, I wish I would have picked a different game because Hera, you made that look very, very boring, but in a good way. What did you think that was going to happen when you saw JorDan had played Vikings? Because you and I actually had conversations about the weaknesses of Vikings, I think earlier this morning.
Yeah, so I saw Viper play Vikings as well, and we casted it. So basically, I knew that from our conversations, we both kind of agreed that Viking going full water has a lot of weaknesses inherently. And so I tried to punish on those weaknesses, but I have to give credit to JorDan. I thought I would be able to kill him in Feudal Age with the forward dock, but somehow he slipped away with his galleys, made it really messy. And he got to longboats. I was a bit nervous when he got there, but I figured if I just make it hard for him, he's got to focus all his micro on the longboats, and maybe he slips up in his economy. But I actually ended up winning the water, which is not something I expected to have happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dominant. You question. So at one point you remember when you rebuilt docks? You lost 2 docks. Okay, so I'm just curious from your perspective. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. What you think would have happened? So if 8 galleys and 4 demos showed up to your ships at any point throughout that point before you rebuilt those docks, do you think you would have lost water in Feudal, or do you think you would have been able to manage it somehow?
I think if he did that, I'd have to go back to 4 dock or get off water completely, basically.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what I would do, but basically to not let that happen, if he comes on one side, I run on the other. I was always watching him.
Yeah,
So
you just flee. I gotcha.
yeah, I'm like kind of like, where are you going? And I go the other way. And I feel like he might kill a couple, but I'd survive with most.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because he did take out Docs in the end. It was just tricky because, on paper, if it's a straight up fight, his army would be stronger. But I had a feeling you weren't going to let him get that. Ornlu, do you have any questions?
So I guess mid game you were really focusing on you just dropped 2 TCs right away, and we're just knowing that you could focus on just fire ships versus longboats. Did you know that you'd be getting such a huge advantage going forward?
I knew I'd be getting an economic advantage because he had to get botkin right away, and he had to constantly micro. So because he's microing and because they're like kind of an expensive units, I knew for sure I'd have economic advantage, for sure. But I didn't think I'd win the water, if I'm being honest.
Did you know you didn't have Bodkin in that game?
Yeah, I couldn't afford it.
Okay.
I didn't really need it as well, but
Yeah.
I realized, yeah.
Okay. Well, Houseboat then for Jordan's home map, and I've seen you play a lot of games in the group stage. I don't recall you playing many games on Houseboat. I know you said that it, can be rather uncomfortable at times to play, but you felt pretty comfortable. When he came forward with that one dock, what was going on through your mind?
First of all, I was really surprised by his fast uptime. I think I might have to practice my Dark Age on that map. Aside from the fact that I'm not really a huge fan of the map of the transporting villas is kind of annoying to me, but I think I just have to practice the Dark Age a bit more and then figure out what the strongest civ is. But me giving him all map control the entire game pretty much felt really bad. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, when he got the dock in my water and he was up so fast, I was not. I was quite surprised. I was not too happy. Tried to adapt, but things went wrong. I made 2 blacksmiths, and I kept getting my villas demoed. So
did you know you also made 2 barracks?
No, what?
Yep, you made a barracks to the north of your base, like just as you hit feudal age, and then you made another barracks in later feudal age.
Oh my god, I made 2 barracks and 2 blacksmiths, and I'm transporting villas back and forth. It's a disaster, bro. It's a disaster.
Listen, you won 3-1, so I don't feel as bad bringing it up. But at that moment, I'm like, wow, okay, so this pressure clearly, because you don't play the map a lot, as is, no one else does either, and then there was a lot of pressure, so I could see how it made you crack a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Made you look human, certainly. Did you? I think that game went past the hour mark. What point did you feel dead? I know when you called GG, but was there a point earlier where you really thought you were behind?
Actually, 15 minutes before the GG. First of all, I was behind the whole game.
yeah.
But 15 minutes before the GG, I knew I was lost. But the reason I continued fighting is that I wasn't really sure what his position was because I kept getting good raids. It's hard for me to tell how bad it was.
Yeah.
And I kept getting good raids. I was like, you know what? Let's just continue trying. But his move to go Elite Karambit, that was the game winner because that forced me to Arbalest, and I didn't have the gold for it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, what didn't he tech into in that game?
It's true. Yeah.
He
had everything.
He went forward, Doc. Okay. So Hera, I'm letting out some emotion here myself. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that game was so over. He researched shipwright before he docked you. And I was like, and then your raids were insane. You should have continued to play, by the way. Spot on because he wasn't finishing you off. And Ornlu and I were kind of losing our minds there. Obviously, really happy for Jordan because I think how he opened that game, he deserved to win in the later stages. And he eventually did. But yeah, that was a crazy one. A lot of crazy things happened there. And then Serengeti, you picked Mongols. Talk to me about that because if you would have lost the arena game, you would have not had Mongols available for Jungle Swamp, which has 100+ deer.
Yeah. I don't know. I figured let's just take Mongols away from him for Jungle Swamp. That's the best civ. And then, he had Berbers. He was probably going to pick Berbers for Jungle Swamp. So I'm like, listen, I'll just go for, I'll just go for Mongols and Serengeti. He won't see it coming because he's expecting me to go on Jungle Swamp. Okay. And then for Jungle Swamp, I can play Khmer, I can play Huns. They're not the best civ there, but they're not too bad at all. And so that was kind of my thought process. Just he doesn't have Mongols, so I'm chilling. And then I also get a good mind game on him, and it worked out really well.
Ornlu, do you have anything?
Well, I guess. Do I ask about the sheep?
Yeah, go ahead. It was an interesting talking point.
I do want to know. Why did you send back the sheep?
Well, the main reasoning is that he's playing for the Red Bull spot, and so I want to give him a clean game. He's got so much on the line, and I would. He's such a nice guy. I feel bad laming. I don't feel bad winning because obviously I want to give him my all, but I didn't want to lame. I just want to give him a clean game. If he beats me, he continues. He gets to the spot, and if not, or he can fight for the spot, and if not, then well, he has the qualifiers. But I just want to give him a clean game because he had so much on the line.
Okay, so I just want you to know for when we ever match up on the ladder, okay?
Yes.
I've had a really rough year, and I really need a victory against a top 5 player. So I might steal both your boars, steal all your sheep. I might town center drop you, but please just like give me back all my resources, and if you can tribute me 500 gold as well, Hera, I really need that. Okay, and you're so nice. Okay.
I think I'd still win that game. By the way, I'll do all that, no problem.
Okay, all right. Listen, I set myself up, but
Yeah.
that's fair. I figured there was a bit of that, right? And I think it clearly didn't help JorDan end up getting the victory anyways because you had the early control. So
Yeah, I don't think the laming is that big a deal anyway. Like I give him back the sheep, right? But I have my own sheep. I still have a good amount of food. The lame slowed him down a lot as well. So
yeah, it did.
like it's not laming is not like a really big factor in today's meta for tournaments just because how the map generations are being made. It's a lot more fair. So laming is just a small annoyance and an advantage, but it definitely does not decide the game at all.
All right, and then the final game, which was so fun to talk about because of the map generation. Like, okay, so you get in there in Dark Age, tell me what you're thinking, and then tell me what you're thinking when you see his location compared to your base.
Arena. Oh, yeah, that was a disaster. Yeah, because I had prepared Cumans, but I wanted to do something. Like, I had a good idea in mind. I just want to, like, boom, and then if he, like, siege pushes me, I'm like, I go all in feudal, right? Like, that's what I was expecting. But then all of a sudden he's Turks, and I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. And then so he's forward castling me, so then I have to adapt, and I know that all in castle is not like a counter to fast imp, but it's the best chance that you have against fast imp.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, what he should have done is Janissary in castle and then continue booming, not fast dumping. That's very risky.
Yeah, it's kind of what we felt as well. We felt like if he goes for Janissary numbers with Mangonels and takes out your starting TC, you're stuck and you just can't move out. And eventually transitioning into a boom. But I think it was maybe too tempting, right? Turks getting free chemistry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the dream to get the fast imp, but then you have to consider the human's economy is very strong as well. But yeah, too tempting is the right way to put it.
Yeah. All right, Hera. Well, you move on to the semifinals tomorrow. You'll be up against Vinchester. You didn't play against Vinchester because you weren't in the same group, so you have had no games against him in these settings. But what are your confidence levels like going into that semi?
Feeling pretty confident. It's the best of 7. I really enjoy the maps as well, so I feel like it's going to be a nice series. Trying to avenge Nikov a little bit there. Congrats to Vinchester for getting a spot to Red Bull. I think that should be. I don't know. You guys probably talked about it, but
Yeah, sure.
He already achieved that, and so it's just going to be a nice series. I think I'm very confident for it though.
Cool. Well, thanks for the time, and we may or may not speak tomorrow, I suppose, Hera. So
yeah. See you guys then. Take care.
all right, later.
Good luck, man.
Peace.